songs. How like being poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls on broken plastics inundated orb that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Going to talk a little baseball today as Tennessee is gearing up for regionals. If you haven't checked it out yet, the Indy Kid dropped a full bracket breakdown earlier in the week, so I'll link that at the end of this video. I encourage you to check it out before Tennessee takes on Wright State later today. We'll have full coverage immediately following each game. Hopefully we'll ride this wave all the way to the College World Series. Obviously, the talk of the town right now is all about Tony Vitello. Is he staying? Is he going? Pay Tony V seems to pop up every time we do a live stream. It's in the comment section. It's all over VAWL Twitter. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at whether or not Tennessee is paying Tony Vitello. But before we get into it, please go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. If you'll press that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Also, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out when we go live, when we drop new content. You can click that bell. You'll get notified when we do that. So let's get into it. Like I said, everybody's screaming, pay Tony V. I've seen the comments that if Danny White doesn't retain Tony Vitello, then he should immediately be on the hot seat. He can't do his job. For whatever reason, a lot of our fan base does not like Danny White. Obviously, I agree with you guys. I want him to be able to retain Tony Vitello, but the reality is that decision falls on one person and one person alone, and that's Tony Vitello. I think this administration is doing everything possible to make that happen. I was planning to make this video yesterday, didn't get around to it, and then last night an article drops from Knoxville News. I'm going to go ahead and share it up. We're going to go through it. It is a rather long article, so I'm going to kind of try to skim through it, hit the high spots. But look, I want to point out that this administration is doing everything they need to do to retain Tony Vitello. So, and that doesn't mean he stays. He may or he may not. But I just want to point out that this administration is doing what they should do. The article came out last night from Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel. I like their site, but good gosh, what a bunch of trash. So many ads, pay site, nonsense. But this is a free article, so I'm going to go through it with you guys. It says Tennessee baseball preparing to invest big in Tony Vitello, Lindsey Nelson Stadium. So let's take a look at it here. It says Danny White was perched down the left field line at Lindsey Nelson Stadium on April 26th. The athletic director watched as VAWLS closer Sean Hunley struck out LSU's Will Safford, blah, blah, blah. Talks about Tony Vitello shooting out of the dugout to celebrate. It says White and Deputy Athletics Director Reed Sigmund walked across the field to the dugout to take in the moment once, one White intends to see repeated many times. That's something I like about Danny White. You know, certain athletic directors showed up to football games, but they didn't show up to all UT athletics. And that's something the Indy Kid has mentioned on here before. When you look at what Danny White is doing, you can't just look at football. Obviously, it's the cash cow. Obviously, football is what pays the bills. But as an athletic director, you want to see success across all brands. And Danny White shows up when the tennis team is competing. He shows up for the baseball team. He shows up for the football team. Says we want to build the best athletic department in the country, an absolute juggernaut at Tennessee. You go on down here, it says Tennessee is at a turning point, preparing to make a sizable financial commitment to its coaching staff and facilities to sustain the program's success. Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the Tennessee baseball program told Knox News. I saw people talking about this on VolQuest on the message boards yesterday, talking about how certain donors have stepped forward and they want to make a big-time commitment to this baseball program. So the money is there. Let's take a look here in the article at what Tony Vitello has done. Says he's built the VAWLS from SEC cellar dweller into SEC East champions in 4 seasons. This baseball program, I mean, they've pretty much been irrelevant since Delmonico left, and even towards the end of his tenure. It says here, cellar dweller. This season, the Vols 45-16 collected their most regular season wins and SEC wins since 1995. You know, we talk about the football program and how long it's been down. Most wins, most SEC wins since 1995. Reached the SEC tournament title game for the first time since 1984. I was 3 years old. Earned the number 3 national seed in the NCAA. This is where I want to go, though. We talk about pay Tony V. Pay Tony V. Make it happen. And I agree, we should pay Tony V. But how much? How much should they commit to Tony Vitello? Because it goes on to say here, Tennessee, which has never won a baseball national championship, is hosting a regional for the first time since 2005. Today, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Tennessee takes on Wright State. Again, Indy Kid will have full coverage after the game. Article goes on to talk about the administration has visions of continuing that success and has communicated that to Vitello. That pursuit has 2 phases, paying Tony Vitello and his staff and planning major renovations to Lindsey Nelson. Tony Vitello has been clear in that commitment. He wants to play on campus. I'm curious to see what they do with Lindsey Nelson Stadium. There's only so much that you can do. Obviously, they want to add seating down the left field line. Also mentioned on VAWLS today, early this morning, that there could be some type of corporate sponsorship. Not that they would rename Lindsey Nelson, but maybe you would put a name on the porch. So we'll see how that goes. Paying Tony Vitello, another big part of it. You got to pay the man. Says the 42-year-old Vitello was slated to earn $600,000 this year before incentives. Easy for me to say. Incentives. I want to kind of skip down through the article here as we're talking about pay. Show him the money. Tony Vitello, SEC East champions, playing for the SEC tournament championship, lost to Arkansas, the number 1 team in the country. But let's look where he stacks up against others. Obviously, Tim Corbin, Vanderbilt's coach, $1.2 million. LSU's coach, which that's what started this whole conversation. LSU's coach retiring at the end of the season, but $1.2 million. Kevin O'Sullivan, $1.2. I mean, you could just see Tony Vitello nowhere near the list, making half as much as Tim Corbin. So you do have to pay Tony Vitello. Obviously, his name's in the mix for the LSU job. His name is in the mix for the Texas A&M job. But according to D1 Baseball, Tony Vitello is going nowhere. So what else? What else is important? Let's take a look at what is the vision for Lindsey Nelson Stadium. The article says it's no secret Tennessee's baseball facilities aren't on a level with the nation's top programs. When White exited Lindsey Nelson after that late April win over LSU, he and Sigmund looked like they were scouting the wide open space past third base. It's a prime spot for potential improvements and renovations to the current stadium structure. Something else worth noting is when Tennessee went on the road and took on South Carolina last series of the year, Randy Boyd, Donde Plowman both attended the South Carolina game. They both toured the facilities with Tony Vitello. So this administration, as much as going back to the history of the Talkin VAWLS network, VAWLS JP always talked about the administration and are they committed? I think for the first time in a long time, the administration is aligned. It's something that Danny White talked about when they hired him as the athletic director. Chancellor, president, athletic director, all aligned with one vision. We heard the same thing when Josh Heupel came on board once he was hired. Talked about how everything was aligned within the administration. The fact that Randy Boyd, Donde Plowman both attended South Carolina, toured the facilities with Tony Vitello, they are committed to winning. They are committed to keeping Tony Vitello in Knoxville. A lot of comparisons between Rick Barnes and Tony Vitello. And this is something they talked about on the Swain event earlier this week, is that when Rick Barnes was flirting with UCLA, debating leaving. It's very similar to this Tony Vitello situation. Randy Boyd was the one that stepped up and locked down Rick Barnes and kept him in Knoxville. So the fact that he is very hands-on with this Tony Vitello situation, it's no secret Randy Boyd is a baseball guy. The fact that he's hands-on, I think this administration is aligned and they are going to lock down Tony Vitello for a long, long time. Article goes on to talk about Danny White is no stranger to working with a baseball program rapidly rising. He was at Ole Miss in 2005, 2006 when the Rebels reached back-to-back super regionals and again from 2009 to 2012. Says he worked on supporting a strong student fan base and created premium seating opportunities at Ole Miss games. And that's something else. I saw an article, didn't read all the way through it, but they are opening up more tickets to the students for the regionals this weekend. Smart move, Danny White. And that's why when some of you guys come in here and you don't like or support Danny White, he is the athletic director of the future. Going back to one of our most recent live streams, Dauber talked about how the days of Philip Fulmer and being a former player, former coach as an athletic director, the good old boys, those days are gone. Danny White is a businessman. He is a fundraiser. He is innovative. He is everything that we need at Tennessee to get going in the right direction. Danny White says here, I think those are the two components that I am hyper-focused on at Tennessee. How do we make it an awesome student experience and adding premium seating? Those two components are critical. Like I said, guys, a lot of information in this article. I really wanted to focus on the fact that this administration is doing everything that it takes. I encourage you to go check out the full article. Very good read. But going a little long-winded here, like I said, I was trying to sort through, hit the high spots of that, but the bottom line is this administration is doing everything it takes to keep Tony Vitello in Knoxville. Again, D1 Baseball saying Tony Vitello is not going anywhere. We'll see how things play out. Tennessee takes on Wright State here in about 12 hours. Hope you guys will check out the game, then drop in immediately following. The Indy Kid will have a video recapping the game for you guys. I'll be doing the same thing tomorrow, and then hopefully we will go live on Sunday. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Again, little long-winded. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Are you behind this administration? Do you believe that they are doing everything it takes to retain Tony Vitello? This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
How like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we draw home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive. The dogs howl like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking